thought I'd do a spontaneous video, just chilling here Saturday, late morning, early afternoon, and wow, it's like crazy. Been going through so much, like the whole world is going through so much change and destruction, and it's a lot, and I've been feeling it. I've been mourning and grieving in my own way, and just taking time to spend being alone and just with myself and with karma and in the ocean, and just being quiet and trying to gather myself and my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions so I could offer something to the world that would be helpful. And that's all I ask every day. Is my prayer of service is to use me, God. Show me how to take who I am, who I want to be, and what I can do, and use it for a purpose greater than myself. Martin Luther King, one of my favorites. And so that's what I say every day. Sometimes I just say, how could I be of help? What can I say that could be of help to the world? And then I just close my eyes and breathe. And then I make a video and I just see what comes through, because I don't plan. I used to plan, and every time I plan, I even write things out, as soon as I start recording, it's like something else just flows through me. And okay, so I was like, well, that was what I was going to do, but now it's this. So I just try to be spontaneous in the moment, because the moment is all we ever have, really. There's karma. And I just felt like I needed to make a video to share, and just maybe just share my energy and my thoughts about everything. I've been struggling with the whole Maui thing, and I went through probably every emotion that everyone is, from total fear to like oh my God, like panicking and getting like bags prepared for emergency in case, just total fear. I was living out of bags for the 3 days after Maui happened. Like, I was afraid, like I might have to grab my bag and run out the door with karma. So fear, that was a big one. After the fear passed, it was anger, real like right anger. I started working out. I was like just so angry. And then grief, crying just like every day, crying for everybody. It's just, yeah. And I get so emotional when I think about it. And I realize I can't even watch any videos, because as soon as I hear one thing or see something, I just cry, just without even like knowing I'm going to cry. I just burst out crying. So I have to kind of limit what I watch and the videos and what the information I'm getting, so I don't drown in my suffering and my sorrow and my grief. And what I keep getting is like I have to rise up into my fifth dimensional consciousness, my awareness. I have to stay in 5D, and maybe this is the message I'm going to share with you. So some of you might not understand what that means. Some of you that are spiritual and aware and awake totally get it. So I'll just try to give you an explanation, whether it makes sense or not. Now, doesn't matter. Maybe some time in the future it might click with you. Doesn't matter. I'm just planting a seed, even if you don't understand what I'm saying. But we have levels of awareness or consciousness. We all do. And if you look back, just say, for example, if you look back in your life like 20 years ago, and you think about like what you were thinking or doing then, and you think, wow, I didn't know anything, or wow, I was so like unaware of stuff, or I thought I knew everything, but look, I didn't know much, like in simple terms like that. We all go through that, where we think we know it all, and then we 20 years later we're like, I didn't really know shit. And kind of like that's what spiritual consciousness is about. It's like, if you have this awareness that you're like, it all, that that attitude will just stop your growth and your spiritual evolution and your consciousness from developing, because we'll never know it all, and there's always more to learn. Yeah, so so starting with the fact is, if you can accept the fact that you don't know it all and you probably don't know much, type of thing, like there's a lot unseen, non-physical stuff existing in the world, other realities happening and other dimensions that we're not aware of. And if you can accept that truth, then that is the beginning of allowing your spiritual consciousness to develop and evolve into higher and higher awareness. So like between 5D and 3D is just like basically we're here on this in this world of form where we exist as physical beings. Everything is finite. Like we're not thinking outside of what we see. What we see is what we believe. 5D is the reverse. What we believe is what we see. So that's kind of like the anthem of quantum mechanics, right? What you believe is what you will then experience in your physical reality. It's the flip reverse. Also, Course in Miracles, if you ever study Course in Miracles, it's the same thing. Like nothing exists except until you have an observance of it, or maybe an awareness of it, then it exists. So if you can wrap your head around that one, then you can start to evolve in your consciousness. And so then staying in 5D during all these tragedies and all this suffering, what that helps me to do, it helps me to rise out of my grief and my despair. And I know by being sad and crying about it is not going to help the world. It's not going to help anybody. It's just going to keep me in a sad place. And so, it's important though. I don't want to say don't grieve, because you have to grieve. Like, you have to grieve and express your feelings. You can't bottle them in, because that's just as bad. So you must grieve. But once you're done with your grieving, then you have to be attuned to the fact that if you stay in that place, you're not helping anyone. So you must rise into your higher level of conscious awareness, and remember that you are just the observer. When we rise into our Purush, our I am presence, we become the observer, the witness to everything that's happening. And what that does is allows there to be some space energetically between you and what's happening, and then you feel okay. You're able to breathe, detach, and have some space, and then it's not so emotional. So I've been flipping back and forth between sinking down into the sadness and what's happening, and then trying to rise back up and just to be the observer and witness it, and know that a lot of these things, a lot of people that died, they, whether they're consciously aware of it or not, they made that soul contract to sacrifice. Like the children, that's what they did. They sacrificed themselves, their lives, so that we would wake up. And Maui is a wake-up call for the world, because Maui represents the heart chakra of Gaia, of Mother Earth. And everybody, the whole world is watching, and everybody feels it in some way, whether you've been to Hawaii or Maui or not. Everyone feels like, oh, what, wow, like how, why is this happening? Like, oh my God, like, you can't deny that. I mean, it hit us in the heart, and this is a wake-up call, and people are just done. They're done, and I am praying that through this tragedy that some good comes out of it, like real good for lasting change. And yeah, so I wanted to share that it's the challenge now to keep reminding yourself to rise into your higher conscious awareness and become the observer witness to what's going on, versus being down in the, and I'm going to say down with the collective, because the collective consciousness is at fear. depression. I mean, just hopelessness, grief, despair, so you have to, as a light worker, as a spiritual being, or as any person trying to deal and cope with their own feelings and their own life and how they're reacting, and it's just a tool to help you. And there's many other videos I made about, connecting to your Purusha and your I Am Presence, and I'll leave the link to some of them and you could just check it out. But this is just wanted to be a short, quick video and a reminder of, to try to keep rising up and be the witness, and then we can be helpful from there. Doesn't mean that and I want also to state this because it's important, it doesn't mean that we don't care because we're detached or we don't do anything to help. It's just for our own sanity, we're able to deal with the intense amount of grief and tragedy that's unfolding, so that we can become useful human beings and be of service without totally just like being on the floor crying and sobbing in grief. So yeah, being detached and rising to your Prush, the witness consciousness, does not mean you don't care, and it doesn't mean you don't feel anything or you don't do anything to help. It just means it's giving yourself room to breathe, and we all need room to breathe right now, to take a deep breath and just say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and it can be really overwhelming. And when we get overwhelmed and we go into fear, we become paralyzed. We don't do anything. We procrastinate. We just stay stuck. And that's not our nature. Our true nature as human beings is to help each other and to be there for each other. That's our true nature as humans. And our true nature as God, as the divine, is to be love. And part of being love is being aware that you're in that higher consciousness, that witness observer consciousness, because that's what love is. Love is. It just is the energy frequency of pure isness, of pure light. It just an acceptance of all, even the good and the bad. It just is. It's looking at the duality and the pain and the suffering without judgment and just observing. This is what's happening. I mean, that's really, really hard. But understand, like human beings, we're designed. Our biology is designed and made to be there for each other. We need to bond with other people. That's just in our biology. And in our DNA, we have the God gene, or divine natural ability, or the God gene. Also, that helps with our awareness, with our consciousness, with our level of consciousness. So we can utilize both in this time, so we could be good for ourselves, and then we could be good for others. I hope this was understandable. I wasn't planning on saying any of that, really. I just wanted to make a quick video, but here it is, and this is what came through. So hopefully that's helpful, and I'll see you soon. Aloha. Peace to the world. The soul fire in me, I give to you. Aho. To learn more about my offerings, visit my website at igniteyoursoulfire.com. Please subscribe to my channel and comment below, my soul family. Thank you for being here on our precious planet Gaia at this time. Your light matters. You matter. You make a difference in the world by just being you. Ahuiho, until our hearts meet again. You are loved.